All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Trevor Owens. I'm the CEO of Javelin, and today I am joined by a very special guest, Tim Aton. Tim, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing great. And so, Tim, how old are you?
19. Still a teenager, barely.
Crazy, man. So I think people are really going to be, everyone who's watching is really going to be excited by what we have to share today. Tim, you are currently a student at Eastern Washington University. You're majoring in visual communication and design as a minor. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm gonna do. I don't know if that's updated enough, but I'm doing business management as a major and then visual communication design as a minor. So
Great. And in your profile on summary, I really love this because you said you are extremely motivated. Basically, you on your profile you say whatever I put my mind to gets done. I can accomplish anything. And you said you're very consistent. You don't have on and off days. I only have on days. So also also quite a salesperson maybe at heart.
yeah, I've dabbled in copywriting a little bit here and there, but
Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this business that you've been building? What is the business called again? The name you have for it, or is there a
I
name?
call it resume redesign. Thought it was catchy.
Okay, great. And so how did you start Resume Redesign?
Okay, so the idea actually came from back in high school, senior year. I was, just trying to sail through senior year, so I took like all the like four racket sports classes and like a photography class and like marketing class or something easy. So what I didn't think, I just, put down photography. So photography actually taught me Photoshop, and so learning Photoshop. Um, I had been in contact with a company called 72 here in Spokane, and so I was like, why don't I just make a fake resume for myself for them if I was going to go work for them? I'll make a cool like infographic-y resume for myself just for fun with Photoshop. Now knowing that now, I would have done it in InDesign or Illustrator, but whatever. So I made this resume, and I was like, cool, I think that's cool. Everyone liked it. So then fast forward to the summertime, and I was jobless, and I was like, I'm hungry, I want some food, but I have no money, so I got to figure out how to make money. So I went on Fiverr.com, and you know what Fiverr is, right?
Yep.
Everyone here knows what Fiverr is. So I go to Fiverr, and I'm like, what am I going to work on Fiverr? Like, what's going to be my gig? What can I do? What's my thing? So I had that resume, and I was like, well, I bet people would want resumes like this one. I mean, everyone that I talked to liked this resume. So I just made a gig. I think the exact words were like, I'll create a stunning custom resume for $5 or something. And I made this like this. It made the image look like it was floating, the resume, and I put that up there. It was just like, why not? I'll see what happens. So this is like fall. Well, this is still, I guess, over this summer, and then into fall, freshman year of Eastern. So that was kind of a big move. So then over the summer, I'd get like that week that I launched, I got like one sale. And I was like, whoa, cool, someone bought it. It was like my first big deal. So then the next week, two people bought it. And then the next week, three people bought it. Like it literally went so incrementally like that. But then by the time school started, I was getting like 5 or 6 orders a day. And so I would, in between classes, I would sit down in like the library and just do resumes and make people's resumes. And just to clarify what I do, what resume redesign is I have these templates like the one I made, and then people send me their resume, and I take their information and pick out the best stuff and put it onto my templates so that so I'm doing all the work for them, and then I just give them back their resume so they don't have to do anything and they get this nice looking resume. So yeah,
And you would and you would charge people $5 for that?
so that was on Fiverr, and then um, yeah, it just kind of scaled from there, and I shot up to like a level 2 seller really quickly and had like 100% review, like 5-star reviews or something. Got a ton of testimonials, and it was cool. It was fun to see all that, and it was a pretty big step for me, just being just entered into college, kind of in high school. So it was cool.
That's fantastic. So
Yeah.
how many people altogether, how many customers did you have?
Ooh, I think I had close to like 100 of them, 100 people orders, and this was over like 2 months. So, um, and yeah, so I think it was 100 orders total. But then it was like towards the last few weeks, I was getting like 5 or 6 a day. So you can kind of break that down into how long it was. But I got to this point where I couldn't physically finish them all myself, like in the amount of time I had in a day. So I had to
Right.
actually suspend that, and that's what happened recently. So that's kind of where it happened.
And so for the 100 people, you only made $500.
Yeah, and then well, I mean, some of them they had like when you get to a level 2 seller, you can do like these add-on things, and so I
Hmm.
had different add-ons. So some people I got like $20 orders sometimes from they just bought all the packages and stuff. But um, yeah, so I mean, it was just more of for me. It was more of is this something people want that I could maybe turn into a business later. It wasn't like I mean, I also needed the money, but it was less of the money. It was more of like this is kind of a cool idea. Let's see if I can do it, kind of a thing.
Right. And so what did you do when you couldn't literally complete all the orders that you had every day? Like,
So after that, that was a really weird time for me because I suspended the order and I was like, now I have no orders coming in, but I know there's such a huge demand for this, at least at $5. So then I was like, well, the next step I guess would be to just take it to my own site where I can charge whatever I want and I can have all the perks wherever I need, and I can totally customize it to my own thing. But I knew I didn't want to make a fully featured like spend a year making a site and making it perfect. I wanted to get something up, a landing page basically, get a landing page up and see if I can get the same results from just my own traffic that I can build myself with paid ads or whatever. Because Fiverr has a pre-built library of people looking for things. So I knew I wouldn't have that anymore. So I was going to see if I could build a landing page to see if I can get the same results from just the internet in general, I guess. So
right. And so how did you hear about Quick MVP?
I heard about Quick MVP. I back when the Javelin board was the experiment board, I think was the title, like the old one or
Yeah.
the version before this one. I
The
had
validation board.
yeah, so I had actually downloaded that and printed it out in like a big old poster, put it up in my room, had it all set up, post-its and
Nice.
everything. Yeah, it was perfect. So I knew about I didn't know about the Javelin switch, but I knew about the whole lean startup machine. So anyways, when I went out to go look for landing pages, I basically said, okay, I put together a list of all the landing pages that I knew of, or the people, like the landing page builders. And so I
Yep.
made a list, and I was just going to say, okay, I'm going to make a landing page on all of these and see which one I like best and see which one works the best. And so I went out and so Quick MVP was in that list, and there's a whole bunch of others. So I just went out and um, found it naturally, I guess, just Googling landing page builders or something.
Nice.
So that's how I found it.
And why did you choose to go with Quick MVP as to opposed to other ones?
That so I don't know. That's kind of a funny story in itself because I didn't necessarily like pick it right away. I picked all of them at the start. I just picked them all, kind of.
Uh-huh.
So I just kind of made them all, and Quick MVP actually ended up being had by far the best results. Um, which yeah, so I just kind of made a landing page on all of them, and there were things I liked about different. Each one had stuff I liked and stuff I didn't like. But the thing that made Quick MVP for me was the actual results that came from it. So
Right. And so you placed a Google ad on your first shot, or when did you decide to place a Google ad?
Yeah. So when I was on Quick MVP, when it was that when I was just the first time I got on there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Uh, I didn't actually spend much time putting together the page. I had, over time I've built up like this library in my brain of like different copy that I could use for resume redesign kind of thing. So I just kind of threw some stuff together on a page, and then it has the AdWords thing built in. So I was like, well, might as well. I can just make it up cheap. Like I think I put down like just $20. I was like, oh, I'll just put down $20, see what happens, and
Right.
moved on. And so that's kind of the mentality behind that. And then it just came back and surprised me later, which I can talk about if you want. Or
Yeah, sure. Go
um,
ahead.
so yeah, so I was on. Uh, let's see, I was at that time, like I went from Quick MVP, and I almost forgot about it a little bit, and then I went to Strikingly, and that's another landing page builder, and that still had some problems for me, and I was just like, man, what am I gonna do? So in the meantime, I'd been emailing Grace about
Yep.
resume redesign, kind of the business stuff, and so that, and also I think someone else that runs the actual Quick MVP site, Jonathan.
Yep.
Yeah, so I get on this Skype call with Grace about resume redesign, and Jonathan walks by or something. He's like, "Oh, hey, I've been meaning to talk to you about this site too." So I wasn't even expecting to talk to him, and he comes up and he's like, "Hey, I have some stats for the landing page you made like way back when or whatever," and so I think you have the numbers. I think I have some of the numbers in my head. I don't know, but I think it was something like there was a glitch and the ad didn't charge for $142 instead of $20 or something like that.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then and then it got like 120 clicks or something.
Yeah.
And then five out of those people, 5 people clicked the buy now for $50 button,
Yep.
and nothing happened after that because I didn't I didn't know what else to do. I mean, I just moved on kind of thing. So I didn't know, but 5 people clicked the button, so that would have been a profit right there anyway. So that was
Yep.
super surprising. I was like, whoa, I didn't even
Yep.
know.
So basically, I think we spent, yeah, something like almost $150, and then 5 people tried to buy something for $50. So that would have been $100 profit, right?
Yeah,
If there was a real product there.
yeah. So I mean, that was crazy. That validated the idea people wanted that and were willing to click the button. So that was cool.
And you
Um,
had no idea that this happened.
no, I wasn't. No, I that because that was a total surprise when I was on the Skype call with Grace, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll email you the." Or Jonathan was like, "I'll email you the ad stats and all the things you used and stuff." And I was like, "Wow, I didn't know that worked," which was funny.
And how did you pick $50 as a price point?
Um, that I don't know. Okay. A few things kind of came into that. So I knew people they literally paid me $20 on Fiverr as a max on Fiverr, and
Hmm.
then I went around and looked at some kind of competitors. Like there's one called Loft Resumes, and they do kind of the same thing, but they charge $100 per like resume template, I think,
Hmm.
and then another one charged like 300 or something to do this full resume service. So I was like, if Loft does 100, why don't I just split it? Why don't I go half as much? And that's still 10 times what I was making on Fiverr, and see what happens. Another kind of just on a whim. So there wasn't a whole lot. I can go into more testing about the pricing, but I just thought I'd start there just because it's kind of an exciting number
Yeah. I think that's
from
a
where I was at.
perfectly logical way to do it, actually, even though it seems kind of random. But
Yeah.
pricing is an art of testing, not an art of, research, you know.
Yeah.
So just I'll say some of the stats for the business because it's very, very interesting and very, very, I think, has a lot of potential as a business. Basically, we spent, I think, $150, and as you mentioned, we actually changed the tool because we found that you have to spend at least $100 to usually get any response from Google on average. So it was like $150. You got 4,439 search impressions, and then 129 clicks on your ad, which is like a 3% conversion rate. And it was a $1.10 cost per click. So,
Yeah.
hold on. Sorry, I'm getting another Hangout call. Let me just. All right.
You're popular. You're a popular guy.
So you got out of that, you got 129 impressions to your landing page, and then 7 of those people clicked the buy now for $49. So the main 4 questions that we try to help people answer with Quick MVP, one is how bad people want your product, and that usually do by interviewing people, by doing it. I mean, you already did it already, you know, with 100 people, so you knew people wanted this. You knew that this was providing value to people, and you had a ton of demand already. You just didn't know how to quantify actually turning this into a real business.
Yeah, get them all in one place kind of thing.
Yeah. And so from 7 people out of 129 is like a 5% conversion rate. I mean, maybe you could improve that by testing other prices, or maybe that's a good conversion rate. We don't know. That probably still needs some work. But basically, that if you multiply that conversion rate times the $1.10 you paid for 129 people, you get a cost for those 7 people on average of $20 for something that they're paying $50 for.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty solid margin.
Yeah, and then like kind of what I was thinking, I mean, I could then, I just do the resumes myself, and then if it scales big enough, I'll just hire people to do the resumes and, go from there. Get more people, hire more people to do more resumes.
Yeah, so I would definitely test next. I would test, hey, if we do $39, is it a proportional or is it an exponential increase in the conversion rate? Because you probably want to charge, you want to make a price inelasticity curve. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Yep. I actually took economics this last quarter before summer, so I got it.
So I would test a couple other prices. I'd even test like a much higher number, like, what was that number that you said one of the companies, those competitors, charging $300?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems outrageous for me because I was charging $5, but.
You could also use the add your own CSS and your own HTML to Quick MVP. That way you can improve the design a little bit. That would probably be able to increase your conversion rate.
Yeah.
And then, so basically we know just off of like this, I mean, how long did it take to set up the whole Quick MVP and set up the ad campaign for you?
Not long at all, like 15 minutes probably total to like put it all together. Something, write all of it, and then publish the ad, and sign up was like another just like a quarter of it. I mean, it didn't take long at all.
Yeah. So we know how much people are going to pay for this, how bad they want it, and how much it costs to acquire a customer, right?
Yep.
And like most entrepreneurs I work with, they never figure that out until like they raise venture capital or get pretty far down the pipeline, and sometimes those numbers don't match up. Sometimes the cost to acquire, like if you had to pay $2.10 for a click instead of $1.10 for a click, almost your whole margin would be gone.
Yeah. I mean, the question I have now is, does Quick MVP have a way of actually taking payment, or like what's like to actually build this out? What's the next step, kind of thing? Like I actually want to do the service now. Actually pay that amount, get those actual sales, and then actually do the thing and actually make money and then put it back in.
Yep, totally. Yeah. No, we don't yet. We need to do that though. It's actually in our roadmap, but hopefully soon. Um, I also think the last question. Did you get a chance to watch that interview with Jonathan Siegel?
Yeah, well, I was listening to that like right before this. I got like halfway through or something, but yeah.
So
Um,
the last question he asked, other than do people want it, how much will they pay, how much they cost to get them, is what is the actual market size for this? And if you look at you used two keywords, right? I think one keyword was resume builder, and the other keyword was resume help.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, sounds right.
So from those two keywords alone, and also the keyword you choose does impact the cost per click. So if you add new keywords, it might affect your margin, but from those two keywords alone, you're getting the volume is 200,000 searches per month, and if you divide that by the day, it's almost 7,000 searches a day. And if we multiply that by your conversion rate on the ad itself, we're going to get 200 potential clicks per day.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then there were 130, 120 clicks, and there were 5 sales. So,
yeah,
you know,
7.
7. Yeah. So, and that was less than 200. So, I mean, that could be pretty good.
Yep. And so Jonathan's rule of thumb is that you need probably 1,000. If you can get 1,000 clicks a day, you have like a dream business. So figuring out how you can maybe increase that, by 5 times, and this could be like an extremely successful business. I mean, you only tested two keywords. You could also use other channels like Facebook, stumble upon traffic. You could test other paid channels, and
Yeah.
all you're trying to do is 5 times the conversion rate. Um, the next thing I would do if I were you is I would figure out a way to not make this just a one-off product. You got to figure out how to make this a recurring revenue product. And
Yeah,
maybe,
I was thinking about that. Kind of, yeah, like recurring.
yeah, even if you charge $10 a month and maybe you host the resume online, um, it could
Kind
become
of like
very
something.
successful. I mean, we're gonna see you, on the cover of Wired magazine or something like that, like the 19-year-old who raised, $10 million or something like that.
Yeah, so yeah, so hosting it online, like building, like you'd think it like a building an online resume or having some sort of like store almost for themes and I don't know. Like I love the recurring model for sure. That's the best way to go. It's
Hmm.
just like it's just kind of you got to figure out how to get from where I am. I got the clicks. Now I got to figure out how to get revenue in, and then how to turn the one product into a recurring product, and then go from there. But
Yeah,
uh,
there's a couple ways you can do that. So one of the easiest ways is to ask everyone that becomes a customer, what other services do you need? Do you need help finding a job? What if I could get your resume in front of 5 people every month in your space? How much would that be worth to you? Um, and then maybe it becomes some kind of a better version of LinkedIn.
yeah, I'll just take over LinkedIn. Just redo
I mean, your Twitter bio said building the next Facebook, right? So maybe it should be building the next LinkedIn.
Building next LinkedIn. Yeah, I'll change it.
Awesome, man.
So what? I guess one more question. I mean, what if what should I do in the next 7 days or something? Like, what are some um, to bring revenue in to figure out my conversion rate? Like, what should I do? What are some definite steps that you think I need to do in the next week right
Yep.
away?
I would immediately start making money. I would immediately start testing different price points. I would see where else can you get a volume of traffic from, because I want to see that you can. I think that your margin is huge already. I want to see that you can maybe double the volume of people you could get from a market size standpoint.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I just want to see you interview customers, figure out how to turn this into a SaaS business, because it could almost any product business can be turned into a SaaS business. Um, you have the entry point, you have the way to acquire people that has a level of product market fit, Now you just need to figure out, how do I keep these people paying on a monthly basis? And it could be something small. And I mean, maybe part of it is that you start out small, and because you're providing such a huge upfront value, that people are willing to subscribe for a long time period. But you need to just brainstorm and figure out, talking to customers, how you turn this into a SaaS business, because that's where it goes from being a consulting or services business to a multi-million-dollar
Yeah.
company.
The customers stay with you. They don't come and leave.
Yep. So I mean, if you have a SaaS business, the revenue curve is going to look just up and to the right, because every customer you add adds onto your monthly amount. Whereas if you just have a normal product business where they just pay you once, then the curve is going to be based on on increasing your volume of people. Yeah. So you don't want to increase your volume of people. You want to keep people forever, so that way your revenue curve can keep moving up. And that growth number is what venture capitalists are going to look at. They're going to say how much, even if it's small numbers of growth, like let's say you go from $1,000 a month in recurring revenue to $1,100 in recurring revenue. That may seem like nothing, but you've just grown your company by 10%. And if you can grow your company by 10% every month for 4 years, you've grown your company 100x, because all the interest compounds.
Sounds good to me. So I every time I just keep gaining more questions, I guess. But
keep them coming.
Every comment. So should I mean, I guess it might be both, but I'm trying to figure out what I should spend my time on. Like, because on one hand, it sounds like I could go and like make a Gumroad almost kind of thing, and just like work on that conversion rate to like actually get the sales and try to do the service that way. Or should I kind of take what I know and then go back to a validation board kind of thing and figure out how to turn it into a SaaS business? Or or both, maybe, probably both, or because like if I'm trying to grow sales like on Gumroad or something, that's gonna be totally different work than trying to figure out the SaaS business, until because I have to get customers, then I ask them. I guess what's your advice there for that kind of thing?
Yeah, I would take the experiment board. I would come up with a hypothesis for a SaaS business, and since you already have 100 existing customers, I would just go to them and cold call them, cold email them, say, hey, I really want to get your advice on this, and try and test like 5 different ideas and pivot along the way. Use the feedback that you're getting from people to figure out the SaaS side, and then make another quick MVP page with the SaaS business. You already know how much it would cost to acquire users, and the thing with SaaS is that you can pay more than the first month to acquire them. So I would, you just got to figure that out, and then go from there. Are you a developer yourself, or?
I mean, technically no. Like I know like HTML and CSS, but I have a pretty large community here in Spokane, like startup people. I'm in the office of another startup that I'm working for. So, but I know I'm looking at the office of a development company. So, like I know people around that could build SaaS software like that. If that's what you're talking about, and then my CEO actually of the company that I'm working for now, his dad is like the president of this angel investment team here. So, that's kind of a clear path for that too. But yeah.
So, I would definitely. If you can recruit someone to be a tech co-founder to help you build it out, that would be huge. Otherwise, I would try to see if you can maybe raise a small amount of money, like 30 grand or 50 grand, to get an app actually built once you validated it. Most people just skip the validation part.
Skip right to the building.
They build for 50 grand, or most of them actually don't know, what a minimum viable product is. The next version of your product should be something like, maybe just something very simple, like hosting their resume on a landing page of their, like their own database or something like that. Like something really, really super simple that takes you like 2 weeks to build, or 4 weeks at most. But some people will spend 200 grand, 3 months of development, and
Yeah.
they didn't even take the first step of figuring out how much it costs to acquire a user, how much that user will pay, if they want it, what the market size is, you know?
All the important things in business.
Yeah, so I mean, now you can take all that information. You can go to an investor, an angel investor, or maybe even a seed stage fund, and say, these are the numbers of this business, and I need this amount of money to get to here, and this is how many users I can acquire for the SaaS business as well. And if you give me X amount of dollars, I'm going to turn to Y amount of dollars. And that's like the easiest pitch to make in the world, because
Yeah.
most of the time you have to walk into a VC's office and you say, this is my vision for how the world's going to change, and it's
I hope you like it too.
yeah. Instead you're going to people and saying, I have a real business here. Um,
Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna, just go do it. Just
awesome.
do it. Nike.
Well, Tim, this has been a fascinating interview with you. I mean, you're on the right track. I hope that everybody who uses Quick MVP can have the success that you're having. And so thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it was great talking with you and kind of sharing my little story here. You're never too young to start, I guess, if there's some young people watching, and you're never too old to start too. But yeah, I love Quick MVP, and it worked perfectly. Even to my surprise, it worked. So there you go.
You doubted us, and then you came back, and it worked.
Yeah, so there's no reason not to use it now.
Awesome, Tim.